we're only giving you 2 dimensions today, but there are 5, and the others get more complex. So that first score takes into account all of those 5 dimensions and averages them out into one thing.
Okay.
The third dimension. And the third dimension is you in control situations. The 4th dimension is you in influence situations. And the 5th dimension is you in appreciative situations. So you see, this all nature seemed to develop an orientation, which we then label time. And one of those orientations is to be open to all the things that we weren't necessarily programmed for, but that change around us, to be open to possibilities. And that becomes what we call the future, that when we're in that space of possibility, the influence part is, you know, given all of these energies inside me, they're pushing out, but they keep on pushing against things and finding things they passed. So that's like the control is what I believe I've learned about past experiences. You know, in practice, people die for ideals, which are appreciations. And ideals, by definition, are things we can never, ever achieve. And yet people die for those things they'll never, ever have. And yet we won't die just to get an extra 10% salary. So every time we take an action, we create the need to appreciate the whole. Again, because our action creates another complement. And the way we understand complements is through appreciation. The key is really not to get us as outsiders into changing you. That's the main thing I wanted. And for you to be happy with who you are. Now, I know you may not be happy with who you are, and you can change that and so on. But I'm saying that's not generally the business of organizations. I've got to appreciate you as you are. Then we can work with the means that you use very easily. How do you get people to do this? Well, you don't tell them. And generally, what we tell people is the means that we use. And actually, that's what they imitate and that's what they copy. And so long as our message is something, so, well, I've started listening a lot more now, and I've started debating a lot more before we make the decision and so on. And then when we made this decision, I take personal responsibility for doing it. I showed to them you're using all 3 equally. And I suppose that really is the simple message out of the whole thing. If you didn't want to get anything else, is say, honor you for being who you are and work as much as you possibly can to use appreciative influence and control means equally in everything you do.
Before the class started, you had sent a email out that said something, but then it said, this class will change your life. And I have to say, I was like, what the heck is that? This is a management class. I don't think it's going to change my life. And then, you know, I came to class and that whole appreciation thing just blew me away. And then I thought, if I get that part, then I'm going to lead the world, you know.
I think it was just a big eye-opening experience.
I was just saying, one of the things I think back to was the first Saturday class we had, which was the appreciation. And a group of us went to lunch at Cosi, and we were just talking about everything we just experienced for like the last 6 hours. And it was just blew our minds. Like, but
it really opened the door to really become who you are. And then I think that also fostered you growing into what you knew, what you felt was powerful, what you felt was influential and appreciative. And you kind of, I think we all kind of were able to grow as people.
What really struck me was when Dr. Smith said to recognize yourself as a source of power. And I guess it helped me to understand that like everybody is complex. No one's a certain thing, like it's like just A or just I or just C. It's kind of, it's everything together, and that's what you put out there and what you get back.
And we were able to really play with it, and it was somewhat of a dance, and I thought it was beautiful.
every day when I go home from this class, I'm always, you know, on cloud nine. I'm always feeling empowered and telling people what I've learned.
For me, there's no day or there's no situation where I cannot use AIC.
This is definitely unlike any class that I've taken.